Alright, weekly news roundup for the baseballs. Because that's a good sport. Okay, off-season news. Baseball for the week of February 9th. That is today, I think. Alright, so, big news from the last week. Trevor Bauer's a Los Angeles Dodger. Yay. Did I see it coming? No. Am I shocked? No. Because I figured that he wants to win right now, and he's going to a team that is going to win right now, and is probably going to repeat as World Series champions, and they're looking to build a dynasty. The details are it's a 3-year deal with a bunch of opt-outs after year 1 and year 2, which guarantees $102 million. So there's that. So if he feels that he's not enjoying himself in LA, he can choose to opt out of his contract and go to free agency and all that fun stuff. So that's nice. It's a big signing. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of Dodger fans that I know actually have mixed opinions. Some are excited. Some do not like Trevor Bauer as a person. They don't like what he stands for, his ideals, stuff like that. Just his personality in general. I personally don't have a problem with him. I think he's fine. I think he's good for the game. I think his analytics approach is really going to take baseball in the next generation. But that's just me. Big news. Don't know where he'll go in that rotation because you have Kershaw and Buehler there as well. So unless he's okay with being a third spot in the rotation, even though he's the reigning Cy Young winner, I don't see him starting opening day. Number 2 piece of news, Marcell Ozuna is going back to the Braves on a 4-year deal, which is kind of crazy that he's signing for 4 years, especially in a league that's probably not going to have the DH this year. As MLB said, there probably is not going to be universal DH this year, so it looks like it's going to be American League exclusive once again. Which it should be. I'm a purist in terms of baseball, so that's fine. AL only DH, it's fine. Don't have a problem with it. So Ozuna's going back to the Braves. Don't know where they'll put him. Most likely in left or right field because it's his position. He plays the outfield. There's no wall really there for him to have an outfield blunder like he has the last couple of years. Obviously, he DH'd this year, so he didn't have a chance to have some outfield blunders. But maybe we'll see some of those more signature Marcell Ozuna blunders in the season to come. It's a 4-year deal worth $65 million guaranteed. That could turn into a 5-year, $80 million deal. So that's good for him. He's getting his money. Had a great year last year. No reason why he shouldn't get his money for it. This is a good signing for the Braves. It's a great bat. The NL East is going to be super competitive this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I think this is a good signing for them. Had a great year. Great power bat. Reliable guy. RBIs, homers. So, that's good for them. Colton Wong's going to the Brewers on a 2-year deal. With a club option for a 3rd year that guarantees $18 million. That's fine. We knew that Wong was probably going to stay in the Central, probably not going back to the Cardinals. So he ended up going to the Brewers. The original thought that the Cubs were in the running for him, but he's going to Milwaukee on a 2-year deal. Really underrated second baseman. Bunch of gold gloves already. Good hitter. Puts up a good at-bat. So should be a good deal for the Brewers. They should have a nice second baseman for the next couple of years. Only problem is, where are we putting Keston Hiura now? Does that mean that Colton Wong is going to be moving? Does that mean Hiura is going to be moving position? Does that mean Hiura has a possibility of getting traded for them to get another piece? We'll see. I think the NL Central is still up in the air, especially with the fact that they're having major signings in the NL Central, so we'll see. I'm sorry. There was a major thing in the NL Central. Obviously, Arenado getting traded. Huge. Cardinals probably going to win the division for the next 5 years. But it's another story for another video. The Twins are getting Alex Colomé. He was a free agent reliever. Kind of expected this coming, that Colomé was not going to be returning to the White Sox, considering that they already signed Liam Hendricks earlier in the offseason for a 3-year deal. So he's going to be their new closer, and Colomé obviously going to another place. Colomé also had a silently incredible year. Another all-star worthy relief year for him. He's been really good in that role for the last couple of years for the White Sox. Been their really reliable closer for a long time. Get your 40-plus saves a year in a regular 162 games season. Get your strikeouts, get your ground balls, and he'll keep his ERA usually under 3, sometimes under 2. It's a 1-year deal for $5 million for the 2021 season. And altogether, it's a $6.25 million guaranteed deal. So, there you go. Great signing for the Twins. Really good reliever. They're going to have a chance to win the AL Central again. So, good job for the Minnesota Twins. Kind of an interesting trade. The Rangers and the A's involved themselves in a trade. Elvis Andrus, who's been the shortstop for the Rangers since, the early 2010s, is finally getting moved. He is going to the Oakland Athletics. As well, Aramis Garcia and $13.5 million are going to the Athletics. For Crush Davis, or Chris with a K, Jonah Heim and Dane Acker are going to the Rangers. So once again, Elvis Andrus, Aramis Garcia, and $13.5 million in cash are going to the A's in return for Chris Davis, Jonah Heim, and Dane Acker. Interesting move. Rangers are not really going to be competing for a while. But the A's, obviously, they had the huge hole at shortstop since Semien signed with the Blue Jays, so they needed the shortstop. They made the move for it. Chris Davis was showing signs of life in the postseason again this year. But he actually wasn't bad. Hit a lot of homers in the Wild Card Series. Had a good average. Actually surprised everybody with how good he played in that series, so everyone was pleasantly surprised. So this is an interesting trade. I think both sides made out fine. A's obviously got some money to play around with in that deal. And obviously we know how good the A's are at getting good returns, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Heim or Acker somewhere around there in the Rangers. And then Aramis Garcia, he probably will just end up getting traded because they have Sean Murphy already behind the plate. So we'll see how that goes. But good deal for both teams, I think. Right now I don't think a team won or lost. So we'll see how that goes. But an interesting trade. But I think worked out good for both sides. But obviously, we'll see. My news as a Cubs fan, Jock Peterson is coming to the Chicago Cubs on a 1-year deal, so that's fun. $7 million. That carries an additional $500,000 of available incentives. Which means if he has the incentive to do certain things or get certain things, he can get a bonus of $500,000. Turn it into a $7.5 million deal. Interesting move because obviously Schwarber, who was our left fielder, went to free agency this year, signed with the Nationals. So we just got Jock Peterson, and him and Kyle are statistically very similar, hitting-wise especially. They're both power-hitting left fielders who are not known for high average. They're known for power and hitting with people on base. I will say I think Jock does have a little bit better defense than Kyle. So I would expect that Jock plays left field a lot, and he plays left field well. Especially since he's played left field in that quirky little short porch in Dodger Stadium for a while. Especially did that most last year, besides DHing with Pollock in left field for the Dodgers. So obviously Peterson just won a World Series. He comes from a winning culture, young guy, big power. Strikeout numbers have been getting better over the last couple of years. He's been striking out less. Maybe he'll be able to teach the Cubs hitters how to not strike out, especially on fastballs inside the zone. That'd be nice. But other than that, good job, Cubs. Good signing. I think it'll be fun, especially to have another young guy in there that can pretty much step right into left field and literally into left field and take over Schwarber's place with probably no difference. They'll be statistically similar, give you relatively the same numbers. So hopefully he has a good year. And they said they don't plan to platoon him either, Jed Hoyer said. That's what they told Jock, so I'm interested to see what that means. Could that mean finally a cemented outfield, which is Peterson, Happ, and Hayward from left to right? Maybe that'd be nice. Eddie Rosario, the outfield, power-hitting outfielder for the Twins. Free agent this year, signed with the Indians for an $8 million one-year deal, which includes $600,000 in incentives. Good signing for the Indians. Give you power. He'll give you good at-bat. He'll give you a bunch of RBIs, and he plays good outfield. Indians haven't really had a good outfield in a long time in terms of names. So getting Rosario out there kind of puts the outfield back on the, hey, look, we got an outfield again kind of list. So hopefully this is an incentive as well. They had that huge trade between the Indians and the Mets. So that's obviously massive. But I can also cover that in another video because that deserves a video in itself. So good signing for the Indians. Rosario is a good player, especially the past couple years. Most Twins hitters have had breakout years, especially in 2019 with all those homers they hit. Won over 100 games. So, good signing for the Indians. Reliable, too. Chris Archer, heading back to the Tampa Bay Rays on a one-year, $6.5 million deal contract, pending a physical. So, if you don't know what that means, basically, a physical is like, you walk in, they check you out, make sure everything's fine. They check your, since Chris Archer's a pitcher, they're going to check his arm, check his legs, make sure everything is working, obviously. Because they don't want to, obviously, get damaged goods. Chris Archer started in the Rays organization, was good for them, traded to the Pirates in the Tyler Glasnow deal. Flopped, was awful, especially in 2020 and 2019, had back-to-back terrible years. So hopefully a return to Tampa will prove to be beneficial for him. That'd be nice if he can get there back to that position where he can be a reliable starter for them. Obviously, Charlie Morton was one of the first free agent signings of the offseason, went to the Braves, so they have that rotation spot open. Archer will obviously be competing for that at spring training. But little pricey deal, $6.5 million for someone who hasn't really been good in 3 years. So I'm interested to see if this pans out, and maybe a return to home will fix his struggles that he's had, because he's had some bad struggles. In relatively kind of sad news, Daniel Murphy retired. 3-time All-Star, NLCS MVP, had a great year, a couple Silver Sluggers, had a great career, was on some really good teams over the years. Nationals, obviously. So, hopefully that turns out well for him. And, yeah, so happy retirement and congratulations on a really nice career. Only 12 seasons, but I'm sure that he should have no problem becoming one of the most well-respected and underrated hitters of all time, definitely. Former A's reliever Joakim Soria agreed to a deal with the Diamondbacks, $3.5 million with an additional $500,000 worth of bonuses. Quietly good free agent signing for them. Good back end of the bullpen guy. Possibly the new closer because they lost Bradley in the trade, so hopefully that turns out well for them. Good deal. And in some breaking news, the Angels have acquired Aaron Segers from the Rays in exchange for a player to be named later or cash. Had a good 2020, not a well-known pitcher. 26 innings in only 11 games, had a good ERA. He's 6 foot 10 inches tall, so that's intimidating as well. Got a little Randy Johnson going on there. So also in 3 games in the postseason, 3 punch-outs and a 1.80 ERA. So they also said that this deal was done to make room for Chris Archer, and on the Angels' part to resume their 8th inning man. So that's some news in the week. If anything else breaking news baseball-wise happens, I'll bring it to you. So, peace out. Stay good.